Hello and welcome. My name's Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind The Country Chic Cottage. Today we are going to tackle sublimation on acrylic. I'm going to have several different projects you can try, some failures to show you what not to do, and some successes to show you that sublimation on acrylic can be done. Now this video is sponsored by Creative Fabrica, however all projects and opinions are my own. And yes, that means we are going to have a Creative Fabrica deal. So in this video, all the projects I'm going to make, I'm going to use images from Creative Fabrica. If you haven't heard of Creative Fabrica, you're definitely going to want to stay tuned for this. So they have over 5 million fonts and designs for you to choose from. I'm going to use a very small selection of those in this video. And right now they're offering your first month for free for up to 10 designs. And that's enough to make everything I'm going to make in this video plus some. Then after that, if you want to keep the all access subscription and have access to all those 5 million fonts, files, sublimation files, SVG files for your Cricut, all those things, it renews at just $9 a month for your subscription. And that does include commercial access, which is amazing. So if you want to sign up for that deal, I'm going to have a link in the description below. And again, that's where all the files that I'm using today come from. So be sure to grab that deal first. I'm going to have links to all the files I'm going to use. Download those, print them on your sublimation printer, and you can make exactly the projects I'm going to make today. So what are we going to do? We're going to sublimate on acrylic, several different projects, ornaments, keychains. I have a special nightlight project I really think you're going to enjoy. Worked really hard on that one. And then I'm also going to sublimate on some really odd things and show you what can happen when you get poor quality sublimation blanks or acrylic that isn't intended for sublimation. So let's dive into the supplies we're going to use. You're going to need some kind of acrylic sublimation blank. So these are blanks that say sublimation blanks. They're from a high quality source, and I will list what I tried, what worked and didn't work. These are all things that worked for me during my experiments. We will talk about things that didn't work, why I think that is, and how to watch when you're buying acrylic sublimation blanks. You'll need protected paper. I like having a popsicle stick with one end that's cut off. It helps me peel, like there's going to be a protective coating on all these and it helps me peel that. You'll need things to like finish these off. Ribbon for Christmas ornament, key ring for keychain, whatever you're making. Lint roller, your sublimation print. So sublimation ink and a sublimation printer on sublimation paper. And we will talk about some special tips and tricks with these because it might make your life a little bit easier. Then I recommend the Pro Spray. You can use tape, but be aware that the acrylic can melt a little bit and the tape can leave a mark. So I'm going to use the Pro Spray in this video to prevent the tape marks. If you get a high quality sublimation blank, you might not see the tape marks at all, but I want the Pro Spray to be an option for those of you that might see the tape embedded into your acrylic after pressing. I'm going to spray these first and allow them to dry while I prep my blank. So I have the Pro Spray, I'm going to shake it really well, and I have my prints inside of a box. So I am going to do this indoors. You can do it outdoors if you would like. It just takes a really quick spray, but definitely inside, like down inside a box so that you don't get overspray like on your table or anything like that. And then you can watch, I'll leave this video in real time because it is literally, I just test my spray to the side and then just quickly spray each one. That's it. Like that's all the spray you need, just a little bit of spray, and then we're gonna set these aside to dry. Most acrylic sublimation blanks are gonna have protective coating on one side or both. I just kind of like to use this popsicle stick and rub across it, and I can feel like this doesn't feel like it has one. I might wanna check it, but it definitely has one on this side. So it starts peeling up as I push, and then I can just peel it back. And you want to get the protective coating off of both sides. Now the only way I know to ensure this doesn't have a coating on this side is to use a weeding tool. So I try to use it in some place that's going to be covered. So I'm going to use this as a Christmas ornament. No one's going to see this area. It's going to have a ribbon. There is, in fact, a coating on that side. So don't be fooled. Be sure to check both sides really well. And I probably did scratch that area, but again, no one will ever see it. So I'm just going to continue and I'm going to check all of my blanks here. For acrylic, you sublimate on the back. So we're going to sublimate on this white side. It's going to show through to the front. That means my sublimation prints do not have to be mirrored. So I did not mirror them. That will be important. It'll be a little bit different from things that you do for other sublimation blanks. But once I get these protective coatings peeled off, the Pro Spray will probably be dry, and we'll look at how to apply the sublimation prints to these. Okay, the Pro Spray is dry on these, so let me walk you through, if you were sizing your prints, what you need to do. So yes, you need to size them for your blank. However, I'm going to put this one on here as an example. So I'm going to locate this design on this. Remember, I sublimate on the white side, did not mirror this. I can kind of see through the white, so I can locate it pretty easily. Then I just press it down onto that piece of paper. It has the Pro Spray. It is kind of readjustable if you want to readjust it just right as you put it on. However, this print isn't really sized right, and I will go ahead and press this one, but for best results, you should leave your paper larger than your blank. So you can see that the paper has a line here on my blank. Cheaper sublimation blanks that are made of acrylic, they're gonna melt, and you might be able to see this line. Now this one is gonna be on the back. Will it matter? Probably not. However, just to be on the safe side, I would make your print similar to this one. So for this one, I can just lay this on here, press it down into the adhesive, and I have sublimation print all the way around my blank. No chance of a line where the sublimation paper is. For each of these, I'm going to do protective paper on the top and the bottom. We're going to put it in the heat press with the print side up. I'm going to do light pressure, and I would look wherever you purchase your sublimation blank, what time and temperature they recommend. If you don't find anything, 385 for 60 seconds is a good place to start, but doesn't always give the best results. So we'll talk about some exceptions to that further in this video. So my acrylic sublimation blanks are all different thicknesses, so I'm going to do them one at a time, adjusting the heat press each time to the proper pressure. Put it in the heat press surrounded by protective paper with that sublimation print on top, and then press it for the full time. Remove with heat resistant gloves. You can peel that sublimation print right back. If it doesn't peel or leave some paper residue, we're going to talk about that in a minute. These look amazing. The only thing that's left to do is to add your keyring, your ribbon, if it's an ornament, that type of thing, just to finish them off. So for like this, I didn't print anything for the background, but the ornament was white. It just really makes the print itself stand out. Same thing on these mom ornaments. And then these two, I sublimated the entire thing, but there was like an opaque background on the back. So you can see it really does look great. You can see through it maybe a little bit on some of these, but some of them, like these ornaments, I'm not even sure. I might be able to see some light through there. Now they make all kinds of acrylic. Do I have to buy this specific ornament that says that it is for sublimation? I wanted to find out. So let's take a look at some experiments I did and why you might want to stick with the sublimation blanks. So technically any cast acrylic will sublimate. So this is a cast acrylic sheet. Like if you had a laser, a glow forge, maybe you could sublimate something on it as I have here. So this was just a sublimation print, looked like that. And I sublimated it onto the acrylic sheet. Now it is a clear acrylic sheet, you can see right through it. However, there would be some really cool applications for this. Now, a couple things on this. So first of all, I would make the print much larger than whatever your piece is, because I can see where the paper was. I can see where I added tape. It did melt, and you would need to cool it with something heavy on top because it warped as well. So that's a few things to keep in mind. I think the thicker, the better in the case of like if you just want to play with regular acrylic and sublimation. This piece was on Amazon, didn't say it was cast, I just got it just to see what would happen. And the paper is stock, first of all, and it did not sublimate at all, or barely. Like there's a few little places that it did, but it barely got any ink on it at all. So I do really think that it's kind of going to be hit or miss. If you can find true cast acrylic though, you can probably sublimate on it. So I went further and I purchased some different acrylic blanks. Like these are just random pieces. Purchased a few different acrylic blanks to see what would happen. And let me show you some of the things that are good and things that are bad. These were clear acrylic and they said sublimation bookmarks, which is why I ordered them. However, these are so thin, like they are, I mean, really about as like a thick paper. I went ahead, did some sublimation on them. They all looked like this when they came out. So it was completely stuck to the paper. I just had to like peel it off. And then what I do when the paper sticks like this, and I do have another blank that we'll talk about in a minute that I'm going to show you, but I just soak this in water to get this paper off. That's what I've done in these cases. So this one looks fine, right? So I'm not wild about the look of these. The edges get kind of weird. It really deforms with the heat because it's so thin. And the back gets kind of a film on it. I don't know, I've scrubbed and scrubbed, so the paper's not on there, but it just feels like the paper melted and sort of distorted the finish on the back. So it's just not great. I would not purchase these again. Now these said for sublimation. Over here, a couple pieces did not say for sublimation. So these were a keychain, these were an ornament. Both had like a white coating on the back, but did not say they were for sublimation, so it's more like to put vinyl on. This one, paper stock, put it on the back. However, you can see it didn't show through the white like the sublimation ornament did. Plus it's way thinner and it distorted. So the sublimation ornament didn't distort at all. This one is all distorted and I wouldn't even use it if I could fix it and maybe sublimate on the front. I probably wouldn't use it because of how distorted it is. This version, I left the paper on purpose because the coating, the white coating that was on the back, is stuck to my paper. Like you can feel that the coating is on the paper. So these were just listed as an acrylic keychain and definitely a no. So when you purchase blanks that just say acrylic, that don't say sublimation, it's gonna be a gamble and one that in a lot of cases doesn't work out. And then even if you purchase some that say sublimation, because these were on Amazon, you may get a really low quality blank that doesn't work out. So let me show you another project I've worked on and how to get this paper off, and one that I hope is gonna work out. So when the paper sticks to the back of the blank, I just add it to like a little bit of water in a pan. And then after say 10 minutes or so, I just use this flat end again of the popsicle stick and just kind of start pushing that paper off. Now the paper will about all come off like this. Then I soak it again. So just push the paper off, soak it again, and I have it like paper side down. This one I did several minutes ago, and now like all the paper didn't actually come off this one the first time. And then I just use a magic eraser on where the place where the paper was and just go over that to get the rest of the paper off. Now let me show you the differences between a few of these and how they sort of melted during the process and what different times and temperatures can do. So here are 3 different of these pieces. So this first one was like 400 for like 60 seconds. It's very warped and hopefully you can see, I hope you can see how it kind of melted the surface and it has all these craters on it. So I was like, well, if I put a moon design on there, this might work, but otherwise it's not going to. So I started going down with time and temperature. This one was about 385 for 50 seconds. Warped a little. The effect on the front is better, not totally gone. This one was 350 for 45 seconds. Much better, it's flat. I actually cooled this one under a heat resistant mat with something heavy on top, so it cooled flat, so I didn't have to worry about warping. And the effect on the front is much, much better. You can probably see it just a little bit. So I'm gonna add this one, so this is for a nightlight, so it slips into a nightlight base, which is why I wanted to do this project. So I'm gonna slip it into the nightlight base, see if I can still see this once the nightlight's on. Hopefully you won't be able to see it that much, and this project will work because this is one I've been really excited about. Now this is the side I sublimated on, and it does have kind of a film on it, feels kind of rough, but this side, which I would consider the front, is gorgeous. Except for the look it gets, and I don't know if it's from the protective paper, but it just kind of gets a look on the front. But let me put it on the nightlight and see if it will work. So I put the piece in the nightlight. I actually added another piece behind it that doesn't have anything on it, and it did make it look a little better. So if yours still has a really weird look to it, plus it finishes the back so it's not all rough, which is nice as well. So adding 2 pieces of the acrylic to the nightlight is an option. Now the nightlight was definitely my favorite project, so let's look at it all lit up. So I really love how the light goes on this one, and you could put any image you wanted to on a nightlight with this technique. So let your imagination run wild, grab the blanks, add an image to it, and add it to a nightlight. These nightlights also change color, which is so much fun. So now I have some really successful projects and some really unsuccessful projects. So I did want to show you both with acrylic, just because it's not like the easiest surface to sublimate on unless you get the high quality acrylic sublimation blanks. And I'm going to link to all of these that I used below, the keychains, the Christmas ornaments, the high quality versions that I used that were super simple to use. Like I just put them in my heat press, 60 seconds I was done. These are the easy ones to use. Now, when you want to branch out beyond that, I would recommend making sure that you find things with cast acrylic or get lucky with other acrylic. This is probably cast acrylic because as you saw, the acrylic that is not cast did not work at all. But when you find those cast acrylic blanks, sometimes they work, sometimes they do not, as I kind of showed you in this video. So use caution when you're purchasing your acrylic sublimation blanks. But sublimation on acrylic is so much fun that I really think you should give it a try. And remember, no matter if you're sublimating on acrylic or something else, you'll want to get in on that Creative Fabrica deal. Get access to those 5 million fonts and images. Remember, you get your first month for free, up to 10 images. And I'm going to link to that below. And then after that, it renews at just $9 a month, which it's normally $29, so that's a really good deal in itself. So be sure to head down there, sign up, grab that month for free. I know that you are going to love it. So if you have any questions about sublimating on acrylic, please drop down in the comment section, ask away. If you liked this video, if it helped you, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We have videos just like this one every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.